All right. Turn this one on too. How's it going? Gonna be doing some unboxings of UV filters and circular polarizers. I know that sounds really exciting. But yeah, I picked up a few. I've been recently doing some of the, let's see if this is working. Looks like it might work. Been recently doing some like product overview things. All right, this should be good. Ready to go live. Yeah. Anyways, been recently doing some product photography videos, and I didn't have a circular polarizer in the size of lens. You know, I have a 62 millimeter one for an 85 millimeter lens as a 62 millimeter filter thread, and then the 40 millimeter lens and the 28 millimeter lens have 52 millimeter filter threads, and no surprise I didn't have the right stuff, so that's why I picked up a few, and I'm gonna do a little unboxing and such. So we'll see how it goes. All right. It's probably good. Switch to the hands-on cam. So here's some of the stuff that I've got ready to go. There. Whoops. All right. So these are the two main things that came in recently. Oops, let me actually get my chat screen over there. Whoops. All right. It should be good. Hopefully. Let's make sure that's not in the frame. Nope. I'm good. So this is manual focus. It takes me a second. So this 52 millimeter filter, I don't think that's the actual, okay, the brand is whatever that is, Acu something. I basically picked the cheapest one I could find. Acuvar, Acuvar, 52 millimeter circular polarizer. So if you're unfamiliar with these, you're going to be able to rotate the second piece. It's basically split into two pieces. And as you rotate the top portion, it's going to cut out some of the light coming in potentially. It's parallel. And then I have a 62 millimeter. So this will work with the 85 here. And this one, yeah, the company is called REFLEX camera. Again, this was one of the cheaper ones. And see how it would be. So I'm gonna have a camera for examples. This is Nikon Z5. I might potentially hook this one up as well because I have this. I've already showed this off in the past, but this is 7 Artisans 6 to 9 stop variable neutral density filter. So this is basically like sunglasses for your camera. But this company had sent me this in the past, and I have talked about it. But if I feel like getting into it, or someone is curious, I'll take a look at this one as well. We'll see. All right. And this is for the examples. This is Nikon Z5. It's in a cage at the moment, just so that I could kind of affix this HDMI cable a little bit. This is the best that I could manage so that it doesn't move around. With this specific camera, it's mini HDMI. So I've got a conversion thing here to a normal HDMI cable. We'll see how that works. Anyways, besides that, I do have two other filters that have just been sitting around. I'll pop them open. You can take a look at them. I do have a bunch of the Fotasy branded ones. They're not bad. But I did notice recently when I had, I think it was Seven Artisans or Viltrox. So this is a Viltrox filter. Anyways, but I noticed there was a significant like quality difference to the reflections and such with this Viltrox versus other ones. I don't have that one linked, but that's one that was sent to me in the past. Anyways, so this is just an older one that I've had sitting around. It's a, I think a 58mm UV filter from Waka. So got some very unique names. But these ones are not bad either. I have quite a few of these Waka branded ones, and then the Fotasy branded ones. They're kind of like good enough type of situation, and they're relatively cheap. But I don't think I have a lens that'll fit these. So I'll just start with these two. Pop them up and we can take a look. All right, so here is the Waka branded UV filter. Generally, there's a bunch of opinions related to UV filters. So the UV stands for ultraviolet light, and certain wavelengths of light that you might want to exclude from the camera, what the camera gets. Generally, the camera already has a filter built into it, so these don't really do a whole lot in that case, unless you somehow removed the built-in filter. Yeah, so generally, the idea these days is that these filters are meant for protection. So, up to you if you're into that. It's kind of difficult to, well, this one's a little difficult to open, but besides the protection aspect, I personally use these because it's a convenience thing for me. The reason that it's convenient is that I don't have to risk scratching the lens or anything when I would potentially need to clean it if I don't use filters, but I do generally use filters on all of my lenses most of the time, unless it's a critical like image quality situation, especially with reflections and strong backlights, things like that, where the filter can potentially cause an issue. So, like I said, it's mostly protection, mostly convenience to use these things. But this one is extremely difficult to open, I guess. Wait, there we go. Whoops. Been sitting around a long time. Oh, there's a little smiley face. Okay. There it is. Generally, lens filters come in a little case like this. Pretty standard. Pop it open. There it is. This is Waka 58mm. Yeah, pretty nice looking. And another consideration is material that's used with these things. This one is probably aluminum for the ring. See, it's got a gold inset to it. I think that it is likely aluminum. There's ones that come in brass. Honestly, I prefer the ones that are of a material that will take the damage and deform rather than distribute the damage into the lens. Like if you were to drop it, for example. That's why I kind of prefer the cheaper ones in a way. So this versus a brass filter, the brass is going to kind of push that force into the lens more so, in my opinion. I'm not saying I'm correct here, but that's just how I feel is the case. Here you can see as I move the filter around, there's a little bit of a tint. So that's going to indicate there is a coating on here, which is good. This one doesn't seem super strong with the reflection. Okay, that's not a great indication when you get that type of reflection. So there might not be a coating on the back. Let's see if I can get it to show up better. Yeah, well, this one might not be amazing, but yeah. Like I said, I don't have a lens that is 58 millimeters. Generally, you're going to, of course, need to buy ones that will fit your lens. And in this case, I probably bought this 3 or 4 years ago and haven't used it. So that's a Waka filter. Pretty decent, in my opinion. They're actually very, very similar to these Fotasy ones in build quality and look. So I am going to speculate here and say that they're related somehow. Pop this one open. Much easier to open box. All right. There we go. So this is a 46 millimeter. Again, I probably bought this when I needed some type of specialty filter. Same situation, it's got this little, well, strong plastic case. There it is. Let's see if I can get the reflection going. Actually, it showed up more when it was in the thing here than otherwise. Yeah, it's kind of a green reflection to it. Zoom in. Whoops. Well, you get the idea. Generally, you want a filter that has some sort of coating on it, because just image quality wise is going to be significantly better than one that has no coating on the glass. I've had a few filters in the past that had no coating. They were horrible. But this one's decent-ish for the price. Yeah. So basically it looks very, very similar to that Waka filter. It's got that gold inset to it. Coatings looks kind of similar. This one might be a little bit nicer of a coating, maybe, because I can see more of that colored reflection to it. Oops. However, I do have another Fotasy one. I didn't link this one in the Amazon thing, but this other one is also Fotasy branded, and I do have a lens for it. But you have to get it from my container of filters. All right. Increase the size of that. Take a look in here. All right. It's probably one of these ones. That is 40.5. Here you can see I actually must have scratched this at one point, if it'll focus. You can see a little bit of damage on there. So that potentially will save your lens, type of thing. There we go. It's kind of a silver mark. All right. Here it is. So this is a very unique 40.5 millimeter filter. Same brand, the Fotasy brand. And if we look at this lens here, this is a Sony kit lens. I think it's 18 to 50, let's see, 16 to 50 OSS. This is the original APS-C E-mount kit lens for Sony. So cameras like the A6000, stuff like that, this is what they generally come with. See a very odd, unique filter size. All right, let's see if I can get a nice view here for you. There we go. I mean, you just simply put it on. And like I said, in my case, this is a little bit dirty. I can see the filter's dirty, but generally I just use these for convenience because I can easily clean the filter, but it's a little more concerning, you know, to directly clean the lens. So I haven't honestly cleaned a lens probably in a few months because I use filters. There we go. Got that nice little gold look to it. And that's it. This one you can really see the green reflection. So that one probably has a decent coating on it. Sometimes they're purple, sometimes they're gold. I don't know green or purple. I don't know the science behind it, why it reflects those wavelengths. But pretty cool. All right. So that was a Fotasy 40.5 millimeter. Next up, let's start with this little circular polarizer. It's in a little box here. I've never used this brand. Like I said, it was basically one of the cheapest ones I could find on Amazon. 52 millimeter. So I've got this thing. This is a Nikon 40 f2. Here's a 28 2.8. So it'll work with these two. Probably have a few other lenses that might have 52, but those are the main ones I'm going to use it with. Let's pop it open. There's a little tab on the top for easy access, it looks like. All right, so here you can see a very large difference with this filter versus the UV filters we were looking at. See if we can get a decent view here. There we go. I can increase my ISO potentially, but it's kind of decent. Let's see. How's that? Quite a bit brighter. Yeah, so we've got the little ridging on the bottom for texture, rotation, you know, trying to attach it to things. So I see some sort of speck of something. I don't know if it's part of the lens or it's just like a something. As I look at this filter, I don't see anything that looks like a coating. So that's disappointing. I'm pretty sure they claimed it had a coating on it, but it doesn't look like it. Maybe that's the other one. We'll see. It's possible this one didn't say that it had a coating. Now I'm in a situation where it shouldn't really be an issue. Just gonna do, I've been doing these product photo shoots, like mock product photo shoots, and I wanted something. So the thing is with the photo shoots of cases, packages, you know, you're gonna have a large reflection. So like this, we could potentially deal with this bright reflection with this type of filter. So we'll see. There's some information on it. HD XT Pro Series HD digital circular polarizer filter. Now that's got quite the name to it. Yeah. So pop this on a camera, but we can first do a little example without it. So I'm gonna turn this camera on here, this one, and then we'll get a view of this camera. Got the 28mm lens on here, should be decent for the examples. All right. How's that? Pretty good. Could increase the size a little bit so it's more visible. All right. Can move this back. Yeah, not too bad. I'll try to use about 1/4 of the screen here for that. All right. Sure, it's focused on something. There we go. All right. So if we look at the screen, you can see that really, really strong reflection right here. So there's really not much you can do about that, right? Let's see if I can get this set up in a way that will... There we go. All right. So I'll just take a picture and we'll put on this circular polarizer and see how it does. I might need to clean it, but... So I'm taking off this UV filter. Trying to. It's really on there. I do have a tool for that somewhere. Is there little things to help remove? No, it might just barely. Well, whoops. There we go. So this is with no filter. See, it's still very reflective. Let's put on this circular polarizer. All right, and as I rotate it, you can see quite the difference. And then it does change, although it's not like amazingly drastic here. I do get more detail. So you probably have to do a combination. See a significant difference on the bottom surface here. Yeah. There we go. So we look at the examples. So we got that versus that. That's a pretty decent difference, right? Not too bad. All right. So I think we're good on that. Looks okay. It functions. It doesn't look like this. This one's difficult to get off too. Let me turn that off for a second. There we go. But I mean, I could use other examples as well, but you generally get the idea. So that's the circular polarizer. I was just rotating this front portion as needed. It's really on there. There we go. Yeah, it works. Not amazingly, but it works. Right, now we've got this one. So this is a 62 millimeter. This is going to work with this 85 millimeter lens. Get my camera back in a decent orientation. Let's see. All right. Yep, so this is 62 millimeters, basically just a bigger version, but it is a different company. So it would be interesting to see how this looks. This one has plastic on it, which is why it was so reflective in our example. All right. It is. Like I said, this is Reflex camera brand. So it's in Florida, it looks like, as well as England. All right. So this one looks like it claims to be higher quality. We'll see. Here it is. Same situation. It's got this like pretty strong case. All right. Okay, I can already see that this one has a coating on it. That's good. Oh yeah. Let me focus a little bit here. Yep. It's kind of a green tint. That's a good sign. All right. Feels a little nicer quality-wise as well. Same situation. It's got the ridging stuff on the bottom portion because that's going to attach to the lens, and you need something to grip on. This top piece moves separately. All right. Looks pretty good. Oh wow, this actually might have a coating on both sides. That's pretty cool. And it was relatively inexpensive. All right, so we've got the Viltrock, or actually this is a 7 Artisans 85mm 1.8. And actually, I could try it with the filter first, the UV filter from also 7 Artisans. There we go. Let's pop this on here. Swapping the lens. All right. So this is with the filter. I'll put on that sample again. Might be too close. Oh, it's in manual focus. Yeah, so I don't have a ton of space here for this lens. Oh well. Look for something reflective that might work. You can put over there. Could use this chat screen. There we go. Oh yeah, that's good. Nice. Might be too close. There we go. Probably good enough as an example. I'll put that back on screen. There we go. So you can see the reflection in the screen. This is with the UV filter. It's even struggling to focus. I'll take this off. All right. Here's the, what was it called? What was the REFLEX camera brand? CPL, 62mm. Pull this back a little bit so we get a nicer view of everything. Just focus right here. Whoops. All right. So we got the filter on. So I'm going to rotate the thing here. You can clearly see a difference. Now it's not anything massive, but it does help. And there's going to be a sweet spot. Well, the camera's still struggling to focus on this thing. Oops. There we go. So from that, yeah, it doesn't even want to focus when it's super reflective. All right, and of course you can adjust your subject with the hope that it'll change things. But yeah, that's kind of the goal. Like I said, with product photography, if you have a case like I showed with this, it's still very reflective even without the plastic. It should help. So there's that. All right. Let's see. Yeah. It's a nice little optical thing that you can do to get nicer photos. Pretty cool. Doesn't look like anyone mentioned this thing that was interested, but I can open it at the very least. Take a look. All right. So this is a variable ND filter, neutral density. It's basically like sunglasses for your camera. And in this case, 6 to 9 stops of difference, depending on how you have it rotated. That comes with a little bit more. It changes the size of the filter, so it's 10 millimeter difference compared to what's on the lens itself. That's why they include this cap. So there's that, and you can clearly see it's got a coating and such. Very cool looking. In this case, it's got this metal knob on the side. So this does not come off. It's integrated into it. If I can get it to focus. There we go. It stays on there. It basically helps you adjust it as needed. Yeah. So on this side, 62 millimeter, I think. Or is this oh no, this is a 67. All right, so if I do want to use this, I'm going to have to use a different camera, because this is a 62 millimeter. But I do have this. This one has a 67. You can quickly take a look. Yeah. So 67 on one side, 72 on the other side. That's why they include this cap. It stays on there. All right. So I do have a filter on this camera as well. All right. Pop this on. I could do an example. So in this case, I need to get an adapter for micro HDMI compared to mini HDMI. Actually, this one will work. It does have it on both sides. So this is micro HDMI. That one's mini. All right. Now it goes downwards. That's kind of difficult to deal with. Well, let me see if I have another one. Although it is just a short example, so I guess it doesn't matter too much here. I think that's USB. What's over here? Another box of random stuff. Oh, I think this is, that's what I want. All right. That should be good. It's a little bit easier to deal with. We've got our HDMI cable. And we're adapting standard to micro. Pop that in. Turn this on. Looks like it's in manual focus for some reason. It should be good. So I'll turn on the other view. Hopefully it works. Oh, it works. Cool. That was easy. So I don't have the overlay. I could probably change that, but you get the idea. Okay, there's the focus. And so we've got our, actually there's nothing on the camera at the moment, but I'll put this variable neutral density. I have the camera set to manual. It's ISO 160. But as we put this on, you'll see it'll get much darker. There we go. Yeah, so it's basically black now. As I adjust the settings, it's so dark that I'm gonna have to really increase the ISO value for it to work. So I can show that on screen here. Oops. There we go. We go into ISO settings. Here we go. So I increase that. There we go. So this is the minimum amount of this. So that'll be 6 stops. As I increase ISO, you can see it's slowly getting brighter. But this is 12,800 ISO on the camera. Oops. Get out of the way. Still focuses. As I change the filter, you can see it gets even darker. So that's 9 stops versus 6 stops. Again, I'm at 12,800 ISO, f4, 1/60th of a second. Pretty cool, right? So this is good for video work, things like that. If you're really bright conditions, you're going to potentially use, let's say, a f1.2 lens or something. Outdoors, something like this might be an interesting option for you to try out. Yeah. So that's pretty much all I wanted to show for this stream. Hope you found it interesting. But got ND filters is a good optical option, and then circular polarizers. So there's that 52mm one, and then let's see, where's the lens? It's over here. Then here's the 62. I'd say the 62 is much nicer than the 52 that I got, but they both appear to be functional. Sadly, this 52mm one does not look like it has a coating on it, so that's kind of a downside with optical quality, especially reflections. But it looked okay in the few little test photos that I did. Whoops. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this little stream. Scott of Darby Bonsai. See ya. Oh, I need to end the stream from the phone, the Amazon stream. All right. See ya. Okay. Oh, cancel upload. Publishing video. Turn that off. So I'm going to look at camera news now. I'm still streaming to Twitch and YouTube. So interesting stats on the Amazon one already. This is my new $20 phone. Well, I mean, the case was like $8, but the phone in here is prepaid AT&T Verge phone that I saw at a random store for $20. And I do a bunch of social media stuff with video and stuff, so it made sense to have get a dedicated device. And so far it's working okay. It's not anything special, but I think it's, 4 gigabytes of RAM, 64 gigabytes of storage, and it just works fine with this Amazon stream thing. So that's good. But I'm still not logged into a bunch of my stuff. So it'll be a little bit of work to get it going. But this should be nice for any examples that I would do with connecting to a camera. Things like that. All right, this looks good. My little chat window over here. I did notice a very interesting lens from Canon that showed up in the news, and I want to take a look at it. But I'm going to turn off this other video setup. If you're curious, I was from my hands-on setup. It's a Sony ZV-E10 with the 16 to 70 millimeter f4 Sony lens. I think it's a Zeiss branded. People say that that lens is garbage, but I mean, it works fine for video. And then that's attached or connected to an Atmos Ninja 5 recorder. And then that outputs the HDMI into the computer through a very cheap, junky HDMI capture device. Same situation with the other cameras that I was using connected to the computer. It's a cheap, junky HDMI device. And for the audio, I've got a lapel microphone, and I want to do a video on these, but this is newer CM28, and the receiver is connected to the computer. And this is one of the transmitters. Came in like a 2-pack of transmitters, and these do support internal recording. I didn't have that on, but maybe I should have. Oh well. And it works decently well. But then I've got the other thing I can switch to. Now it's going to get quieter because this isn't as loud as this setup. All right, now I'm on this thing. Anyways, camera news, like I said. Turn this off. Very interesting lens from Canon. More so, it's a mix of price and aperture. I think it's a 45 millimeter f2, or no, 45 millimeter f1.2 for $500, which makes no sense, but it sounds interesting. All right. Pull up a window here. Let's go to Canon USA. There we go. Swap to there. Sure. All right. Here we go. Go into lenses. Maybe news. Sort by. Nope. Again, that's not the place. Do they have news? Explore. So I can put on some music now. I didn't want to do any type of background music with Amazon. Oops, sorry, that was probably very loud. How's that? Okay, let me make sure my microphone's working. Yeah. So I'll turn this down a little bit. 25. So I'm looking for any sort of news page. Why would they, what? EFM lenses? I'm confused. Do they even sell any of these anymore? That's news to me. FS, EF, binoculars. They've got to have some sort of news page. Here we go. So we've got Canon's 3D VR something, but this is what I'm looking at, or looking for. So the EOS R6 Mark III. There've probably been some videos on it. I did watch one from Petapixel, those guys. It looks nice. I've been kind of boycotting Canon since the whole EFM thing, because I did use EFM equipment for a long time. I eventually sold all of it because I just wanted to move on to new stuff to try, and I wanted some cash at the time. Anyways, so there's the R6 Mark III and this very interesting 45mm f1.2 STM. Let's see if they have any pictures of it. There it is. Oh, it's just a JPEG. All right, let me switch here and take a look at it. Open with, let's try Affinity. Yeah, I did a stream recently with Affinity. They released version 3 and it's free now. But I mean, there's always a little bit of risk with free. So this is what it looks like. It's pretty small. Like, how is this an f1.2 lens? Let's see if there's another picture. I'll just sample and shake it with the R6. Okay, here's a example with the .45. Okay. It's a very elaborate photo. Let's see how, oh wow. Okay, this is full size. I wish they would not have used a child. But that's okay. This is probably focused on their face. I mean, I guess doesn't matter if I... Probably not. Yeah, it looks pretty nice. Whoops. It's hard to tell with just one example photo. Oh, there's my thumbnail image. What else is in here? Oh, it's all the same thing. All right. Let's try to find some specs on this thing. Designed to redefine compact f1.2 prime performance. Natural perspective, close to human vision. Yeah, I generally really like the 40 f2 from Nikon for convention photography. Going out to an anime convention, comic convention, taking photos of cosplayers, people in outfits, costumes. So I think this one would be even nicer, but I don't have any Canon equipment. So it says a little bit wider than 50 is nice. 40 to 45, I think it would be decent. 40 sometimes is a little tight for those conditions, but I definitely think I could make this one work. So it's a f1.2 PMO, a spherical lens with an STM, well, with STM, wait, innovative PMO a spherical lens and gear type STM with magnetic detection. I'm not sure what that means, but this is, I assume, the focus motor. Producing size and weight. All right. Rich three-dimensional bokeh with 9 aperture blades. So it's f1.2 to f16. Let's see what the MSRP in the United States. Yeah, this price, man, how? This, even just this in itself makes me interested in Canon again. Because that's really cool. Now, who knows what it's like in reality? Is it decent? Who knows? That one example photo looked good. But, man, that price for an f1.2 with autofocus, very cool. Canon, if you're watching this, feel free to send me one. And a camera, too. Alright. So, obviously the R6 Mark III came out as well. But let me check KH. Like, what's the cheapest full frame RF mount camera? All right, price. Just make sure it's full frame. Coverage format. So the RP 670. Is this actually functioning? Yeah. So excellent rated 671 for the RP. So I mean, you could get this and then get that 45 for under $1,000. Well, no, over $1,000, but not a ton. You know, if I knew math. Let's check MPB. These are generally the companies I tend to use these days. There's also Use Photo Pro and of course eBay and local stuff. But let's try here and then do they have, okay, sensor format, full frame, and then price. So these, it's cheaper on here. Yeah, this would probably be close to 1,000 if you got the cheap one. And they keep doing price high to low, please. Well used, 71,000 shutter actuations for 519. Man, it's kind of tempting. I mean, the dynamic range of this sensor I don't think is amazing. And the video capabilities and everything is just not amazing on this camera. But still, it's kind of interesting. This one looks pretty rough. I don't know what is going on there. Like, is it damaged or like someone hit it? I don't think that's a feature. Let's see. Let's try one of the better ones. Yeah, that other one, maybe it's a reflection, but how the heck do you get a reflection from a dark paint? No, there's something. That is so odd. How do you manage to do that? Yeah, that camera has seen some things. It's missing a screw. How? Yeah, I don't think I would buy that one. This one looks like it's been treated decently. That was $574, so another $50 or something. Seems worth it in this case. Although it has a higher shutter count than the other one. I mean, I don't know what these shutters are rated for. Probably 150,000. Yeah. So the ESR for $739. The original, this would probably be the one that I would prefer to get if I were to get into that system. So around 1,000 to 1,500. That feels expensive. Like, why is it such a big range? 627,000 shutter actuations, and they still want $984. Why are these so massive? This must have been a very popular one with wedding photographers or something. Because how do you take that many photos? 191,000. Yeah, this is still kind of expensive, in my opinion, for what it is. But I'm sure it's a nice camera. Anyways, this lens looks cool. All right. Let's see if there's any other news we can take a look at. Trying to think of maybe just go on the manufacturer's websites. Or I can look at DP Review. I think DP Review is getting really jerky about looking at their content and mentioning it. So whoever owns, I forgot what they're called, but I don't think I want to go there anymore. So Petapixel did their review of R6 Mark III. I saw that video. That was good. Affinity added 1 million users in less than a week. Huh. Yeah, they've shown the RF 1.2. Let's see if they mentioned anything else here. All right. Yeah, I would assume these samples, I don't know if these are samples they took or, yeah, maybe they were at some event and they took those pictures. All right. Fujifilm issues an official apology for making photography awesome. What? Hmm. Okay. Oh, okay, I get it. That's nice. 3,200 megapixel camera. All right. Hmm. Yep. Trying to think of, maybe I just go to each website. Let's see. Yeah, the ZR. I think I talked about that one. Not totally sure. Maybe not. I had to do a search on my own channel. Let's see. Description. No, I don't think so. It's probably been a while. All right. So I could talk about that one a little bit. See if they have any other stuff going on. Firmware version 3 for the ZF film grain. DX format, which is APS-C, 16 to 50, 2.8 VR. And the ZR itself, firmware, 24 to 70, 2.8 S Mark II, version 2. Yeah, they shrank the size of it. That's nice. So we got the ZR, or ZR, however you want to call it. Maybe I should look at the spec page. Yeah, I am of multiple opinions of this thing. I think basically what happened was probably they were building this thing as a vlogging camera, and then they took over Red. They bought Red, and they probably were like, we got this Red thing now. Let's augment this vlogging camera that we're making for cinematographers. So they kept the very unique mix of ergonomics with like the micro HDMI, but then they added Red raw format and stuff and all that. No fan, no mounting points. So I wouldn't mind a few of these, obviously. It would be nice, but I just don't see it as anything like the Sony FX3, the Panasonic S5 II. What other cameras are like that? I don't know, but I wouldn't see it as a full alternative. Oh, the Canon C50 or whatever it's called, the new one. So that doesn't have sensor-based stabilization in the Canon. This one does, and it's cheaper. But then it doesn't have the ergonomics to make sense. It doesn't have a timecode port like the Canon. Can't really directly input XLR stuff. You can't probably de-squeeze anamorphic lenses, things like that. It does use a fast readout sensor, So that partially stacked sensor. Yeah. So kind of cool. I saw someone complaining about it was very easy to accidentally press, I think it was the shutter button or something. Or maybe the switch. I'm not sure. But they were complaining about that. Oh, it was the power button. Whoops. I can't really zoom in on these. So, why does it look like this? I don't think this is right. Yeah, so the power buttons could be easily changed, like pressed accidentally. That's not great. They probably should have used a switch. Overall, it's kind of cool. It's a nice upgrade to the Z30. I had a lot of issues with the Z30. I had that camera for quite a while. I tried to make it work. 4K kept overheating. 1080p, 60 frames a second, kept overheating. I think I was able to get it to not overheat for hours because I do streaming and I do like long form recordings for different types of videos. So if I'm testing a light or something, it's gonna be a few hours probably of testing the light, and it just makes sense for me just to have the thing running and recording what I'm doing. So the Z30 just was not capable of doing that stuff. And I swapped that for the Sony ZV-E10. The negative of the Sony is that it has a crop in 4K 30, and that's what I use it at. So that's not ideal, but it's never overheated on me when I output to the HDMI. I'm not even doing internal recordings in the camera. So the Z30 would overheat without even doing that. It was just outputting HDMI. So the Sony in that case is much better. Ideally, I would have preferred to get the Mark II of the Sony, but you know, money. So, in the thing that I just did right now with the hands-on, that was the Sony with the Ninja 5 recorder from Atmos. And it was fine. You know, it worked and just did what I needed to do. So I would assume this one's robust enough to still be able to do that, like at 4K 30. I would assume, even though obviously it doesn't have a fan. The Sony doesn't have a fan in that case. But I would assume this would be fine. So, yeah. I wouldn't mind a few of these. But I'm not going to go out and buy them. Use cases, I do think it would be a nice vlogging camera. People still do vlogging, who knows? Maybe even like live streaming, but IRL live streaming. This one might be interesting, but it's got the crappy HDMI port, the micro, so probably not the best for that. It's a cool camera though, in general. So now we've got this DX camera. DX lens, 16 to 50, 2.8 VR. Seems pretty nice. Oh, and they have a DX MC35 1.7. Okay. I don't have any water in here. Yeah. I don't know what the price is on this thing. Let's see. B&H. Actually, let's close that. Don't need that. Leave that for the moment. I think this is close to 1,000. Could be wrong though. Yeah, $900. I mean, I guess it's just everything's more expensive these days. But then we look at that Canon lens, the 45 f1.2 for 500. Obviously, these are very different lenses, but this just feels overpriced. I mean, it's probably cheaper than some other options, but then I call them Nikon. Obviously Nikon and then Nikon, whatever the heck you want to call them. If they would just let Sigma really do what they want with the zoom out, we would probably see the 16 to 50 2.8, which is the lens I'm using right now. This is the 16 to 50 2.8 on a Sony a6000 camera, and it's nice. It works. It's not, it's got a, I'm kind of zoomed in a little bit, so the barrel distortion's not ideal on this lens, but it's compact and it's cheaper than this Nikon one. So it would be nice if people in APS-C Nikon had the option to use Sigma, but I guess this lens explains why we never saw the 16 to 50 on zoom out. Oh, I don't think it's on there. 16 to, oh no, it's 8, my bad. 18 to, did I say? It's 18 to 50 millimeters. Yeah, so this is the one I'm talking about. I mean, it's more expensive than I remember, but I did buy mine used. So $660. It's on RF mount, Fujifilm, Leica. Yeah, so no Nikon Z. Maybe the price just went up from tariffs and stuff. Very possible. Because I didn't think it was that expensive. It is on RF. So Canon's more open than Nikon at this point. That's crazy. Anyways, this lens is pretty cool. I like it. That's actually what I can do here is sort by newest. This is a very nice feature of their website. So if I go to cameras, sort by newest. So there's a Leica SL3 for $8,000. There's the R6 Mark III. And various stop motion animation firmware. Okay. Let's see if I can exclude special things. Whatever. Panasonic S5 2X. Okay, this must be a special kit because that's an older camera. A6700, same situation. It has a new kit lens, so that's why it's in here. The S9, people seem to like this for some reason. I just don't understand it because it doesn't have a mechanical shutter, and the sensor is slow enough that I would assume you're going to have some issues, but maybe not. Leica MEV1. Oh, it's got a electronic viewfinder. $9,000. Fujifilm X-T33. Yeah, this is... I saw a video or two of this one. Well... seems fine. I mean, with so many options out there, why? I guess if you like the look of it, $1,200 just for the... Oh no, that comes with the lens. So $150 for the lens. 26.1 megapixel X-Trans. 2.36 million dot EVF, which is on the low end of pixel count. 13 to 33. That is a unique focal length range for a kit lens. Very wide. It's kind of cool. $10-bit via micro HDMI output. Huh. But does it overheat? One SD card slot. Yeah. I've just never been super interested in Fujifilm stuff like that. I did have the X100F for quite a while, years back. It was a fun camera, but it naturally had limitations. And I eventually just wanted some money out of it, so I sold it. But those are pretty cool, although they've gotten so expensive, that X100 series. $1,800. It's insane to me. This does not, to me, this does not feel like $1,800. I think mine was under 1,000 when I bought it. Yeah. What is this thing? Pocket light. It's got a fan in the back. It's kind of cool looking. Zhiyun. It's kind of expensive. How long does it last, though? I can't imagine it's gonna last very long if it's 100 watt on a battery. Yeah, the battery's 55 watt hour. 2.5 hour charging time. Looks kind of cool, at least. All right, let's see. I don't know why it's in the camera area. There's another one. Am I in the wrong? Oh. I don't know what that is. Instax Mini L Play Plus Hybrid Instant Camera. So these are basically digital cameras. That's kind of cool looking. Very simple. Look at that tiny lens. Yeah. Kind of cool. So you could basically just use it like a printer as well. How much is this thing? 200 $35. Yeah. I've been more into the Polaroid stuff because they sent me this orange one. I haven't tried any of the Instax. I'd be open to trying it, but I'm not going to go out of my way to buy one. Panasonic G100D. Isn't that a really old? Ricoh GR4 monochrome. This is interesting. So obviously it's not available yet, but they're doing the monochrome sensor GR. Sounds pretty cool. Yeah. I wouldn't mind a regular GR4. Which, let's see how much it costs now. I think they increased the price. $1,500? Man. $500 price increase. Although maybe like 1,100 or 1,200. Some of the GR3s got up to in price. So, not quite 500. Yeah. Pentax K3 Mark III monochrome. Okay. That's been out for a long time. S1R2. These are kind of out of my wheelhouse. Okay, he's got the partially stacked sensor like the Nikon one. Yashica City 300. That seems way overpriced. What? Kodak. Huh. Z6 III with a kit with the 50. Huh. Africa photo. Create with a K. Yeah. I mentioned these last time I did a news video. It looks cool. I haven't bought one, but it's kind of a blind box little digital camera thing. Retro. Kind of neat. Oh, I like that one. That's probably the rare one. Let me see if they have a percentage. Oh, wow, the quality is not ideal. Still cool though. Yeah, it doesn't mention like if there's a percentage chance of each type. Blind, just 1 of 7. I don't think I would buy it online. I'd try to see if there's a local place that has it, but I don't know of anywhere offhand. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for cameras that I've looked at in news videos. Let's try lenses real quick. Mirrorless. Do autofocus. And then sort by newest. There's the 45. Let's see if they show specifications. on here. Yeah, so it's full frame, of course. That's good. 1 to 7.7 reproduction ratio, 0.13. That's not the worst thing ever. Yeah. 9 elements, 7 groups, 9 aperture blades. Yeah, 67 millimeter front filter thread. Just this lens itself makes me interested in Canon again. So that's pretty cool. They're going to sell a lot of those. Rokinon 24 to 60 f2.8 full frame E-mount, $900. So that's kind of like the same price as the Nikon APS-C. Yeah. Viltrox 85 f2. I've seen, I think it was Reddit. I saw someone saying that it doesn't work on all of the cameras right now. And you have to, it only works like on the Z8, but an older firmware, which is very odd. So that is not ideal. I'm surprised they would release the lens like that. I mean, it's partly, I think it's Viltrox's fault, but also I don't think Nikon wants them there to begin with. So they probably do things in their firmware to make it difficult for them to make it work. So, I mean, for the price, an 85 f2 is good, but sadly, some firmware issues potentially. That's just what I saw on Reddit. I don't know the specifics. 23 1.4 Sony E-mount. Yeah. Not too bad. Oh, APS-C. 35 1.8 APS-C. I mean, for $135, it's pretty nice. TT Artisan. 23 1.8. Assume this is E-mount. Doesn't even say which mount it is. Okay, Z, really? Huh. So there's the... Oh, that's why it swoops. Okay. That makes sense. Because the mount is so big. Yeah. I mean, is there any situation I would use this lens? I'm trying to think. I've got the zoom lens, which, yeah, I don't think I would specifically use that to justify buying it. 27 2.8, the APS-C. There's that 13 to 33. $10mm 2.8. Esther Hori. They sent me a thing in the past, or 1 or 2 lenses. Full frame. It looks like the Viltrox. I wonder if this is some sort of situation with a manufacturer, but then they basically sell the design to multiple companies. Because it looks very, very similar to the 7 Artisan one. This material here is like different, but yeah, they both have the same switch. Huh. Oh. 25 to 200. 200, 506. Yeah, that's kind of cool. 75 f2 full frame. There's that 85 f2. Venus Optics 200 f2. Telephoto. Full frame. Oh, that's interesting. $2,000. It's pretty cool. It's out of my ability to buy, but so I don't think I'll be trying it. 51.4. All right, so there's the 1650 2.8 DX. 35 1.7. Yeah, this man, that Canon lens made everything look expensive. 70 to 180 2.8. Yeah, that's cool. I want Z mount. Ah, it's Tamron. Yeah, they're the one that they allow to put stuff on there. All right, I think I'm gonna head out. Interesting news, specifically that Canon lens. Very cool. But I'm gonna head out. Peace. See ya. Find my in screen here.